The candle on the table flickered like a heartbeat on life support, casting shadows that danced mockingly across the crisp white tablecloth. Emily Harper sat alone in the dimly lit corner of La Bella Vita, the kind of upscale Italian bistro where singles went to pretend they weren't desperately hoping for a spark. Her phone screen glowed accusingly, 7:45 p.m. 15 minutes late. She'd arrived early, of course, punctual to a fault, a habit drilled into her by years of showing up for everyone else's emergencies but her own. Now, she nursed a glass of Merlot, swirling it like it held the answers to why, at 32, she was still swiping right on strangers in a city that chewed up dreams and spat out takeout containers. Emily glanced at the door for the umpteenth time, her heart a tangled knot of optimism and dread. This blind date had been her best friend Sarah's doing, a setup with some guy named Jack Harlan, a software engineer with a killer smile according to his profile pic. Emily wasn't sure what killer meant anymore. Her last relationship had ended with a text that read, "You're great, but I need space to find myself." He'd found himself in Bali with a yoga instructor 6 weeks later. She'd found herself buried in case files at the law firm, where partnerships meant billable hours, not soulmates. The waiter, a lanky kid with a name tag reading Marco, hovered nearby, his pity disguised as concern. "Everything okay, miss?" "Another breadstick?" Emily forced a smile, the kind that didn't reach her eyes. "I'm good, thanks. He'll be here any minute." Lies we tell ourselves, she thought, as the restaurant buzzed around her, couples laughing over tiramisu, a group of friends toasting birthdays. She felt like an extra in someone else's rom-com, the one who gets written out before the credits. Then, the door swung open with a chime that sliced through the hum of conversation. Emily's pulse quickened. But it wasn't a tall, broad-shouldered man in a button-down. It was two tiny whirlwinds in matching pink raincoats, their blonde curls frizzing from the November drizzle outside. They couldn't have been more than 5, these twin girls, clutching each other's hands like lifelines as they scanned the room with wide, determined eyes. One had a smudge of chocolate on her cheek, the other clutched a crumpled drawing, edges curled from tiny fists. They spotted her immediately, as if she'd been lit by a spotlight. Marching straight to her table with the precision of pint-sized soldiers, they stopped short, tilting their heads in unison. The one with the chocolate smudge, Emily would later learn her name was Lily, piped up first, her voice a high-pitched melody laced with apology. "Hi, miss. My daddy's sorry he's late." Emily blinked, her wine glass frozen halfway to her lips. The restaurant seemed to hold its breath. Excuse me," she managed, her lawyer's brain scrambling for context. "Who were these children? A prank? A mix-up?" But their faces, round and earnest, with freckles like scattered stars, held no guile, only a quiet urgency. The other twin, Rose, thrust the drawing forward like an offering. It was a crayon masterpiece, stick figures under a rainbow, labeled in wobbly letters, "Daddy plus us plus new friend. He said to give you this. And to say he's stuck at the vet with Mr. Whiskers. The cat's tummy hurts again." Lily nodded solemnly. "Daddy says you're pretty, like a princess in his stories. But don't tell him I said that." Emily's throat tightened. A laugh bubbled up, unbidden, mixing with the sting of tears she hadn't expected. These little emissaries, sent on a mission of mercy for their absent father. She set her glass down, leaning forward. "Well, thank you, ladies. I'm Emily. And who might you be?" "I'm Lily, and this is Rose. We're 5.5. Almost 6. Lily held up 4 fingers, then reconsidered and added a thumb. Rose giggled, covering her mouth. "Daddy said to wait with you if you're nice." "Are you nice?" The question hung there, simple and profound. Emily thought of her empty apartment, the half-read novels piling up on her nightstand, the way she'd armored herself against disappointment with sarcasm and late nights at the office. "I try to be," she said softly, pulling out the chair beside her. "Why don't you sit? Tell me about this Mr. Whiskers." And just like that, the empty table transformed. The twins clambered up, their raincoats shedding droplets like confetti. Lily launched into a breathless tale of the cat's exploits, how he'd once stolen an entire rotisserie chicken from the counter, leading to a family chase through the backyard. Rose chimed in with sound effects, meow, crash, boom. Emily found herself laughing, really laughing, as she tore breadsticks into pieces for them to nibble. The waiter brought crayons and napkins without being asked, winking as if this were the most normal blind date interruption ever. 20 minutes ticked by in a blur of stories and giggles. Emily learned the twins were obsessed with fairy tales, Lily favored the brave ones like Mulan, Rose the magical like Cinderella. They asked about her, too, with the unfiltered curiosity of children. Do you have a kitty? Do you like ice cream? Why are your eyes sad sometimes? Emily deflected the last one with a joke about allergies, but inside, something cracked open. These girls, with their unscarred hearts, saw through her polish to the ache beneath. The door chimed again, and this time, it was him. Jack Harlan burst in like a storm cloud with a silver lining, tall, disheveled in a rumpled button-down, his dark hair tousled and a pet carrier slung over one shoulder. His eyes, a stormy blue, locked on the table, widening in a mix of relief and mortification. "Oh, God! Emily! I am so sorry." The vet, traffic, and then the girls insisted on, well, this. He set the carrier down, where a groggy tabby blinked balefully through the bars. The twins squealed in unison, launching themselves at him. "Daddy! We did it! Emily's nice!" Jack scooped them up, one under each arm, planting kisses on their foreheads. "You two are trouble, you know that." His gaze met Emily's over their heads, and there it was, the spark Sarah had promised. Not fireworks, but a quiet warmth, like embers stirring after a long winter. "Jack, I presume." Emily stood, extending a hand, her voice steadier than she felt. "We've been regaled with tales of feline felonies. Sounds like you've got your hands full." He chuckled, a low rumble that sent a shiver down her spine. "Full doesn't cover it. Single dad to these hurricanes, and apparently now a cat with IBS. But hey, at least they approve." He nodded at the twins, who were already back to doodling on the napkins. "If you'll give me 10 minutes to drop Mr. Whiskers at the sitters next door, can I make it up to you? Dinner's on me, real dinner, no kid menu." Emily hesitated, the old instincts kicking in. Run. It's complicated. But Lily looked up then, her eyes pleading. "Please, Emily. Daddy makes the best spaghetti stories." Rose nodded. "With meatballs like magic. How do you say no to that?" 10 minutes, Emily agreed, surprising herself. As Jack dashed out, the twins filled the silence with whispers and giggles, braiding Emily's hair with napkin shreds into what they called a princess crown. She let them, the simple touch grounding her in a way nothing had in years. By the time Jack returned, hair combed, shirt tucked, a sheepish grin in place, the table felt less like a battlefield and more like a hearth. They ordered pasta for the girls, osso buco for the adults, and the conversation flowed like the Chianti he poured. Jack was easy to talk to, his words laced with self-deprecating humor. He'd built apps for nonprofits by day, wrangled bedtime routines by night. The twins' mother, he explained quietly as they colored outside the lines, had passed 3 years ago. Breast cancer, aggressive and unforgiving. One day she was planning our family trip to Disney, the next, gone. These two were barely two. I wake up every morning wondering if I'm enough. Emily's heart clenched. She knew loss, though hers was different, a string of betrayals, starting with her father's abandonment when she was 10, leaving her mother to scrape by on waitressing tips. Emily had vowed never to need anyone, building walls of independence brick by legal brief. "You're doing more than enough," she said, watching Lily twirl spaghetti on her fork. "They light up when they talk about you." He smiled, but it didn't quite chase the shadows from his eyes. "It's hard, though. Dating, I mean. Babysitters are gold dust, and who wants to sign up for instant family? Sarah said you're a powerhouse at work, corporate law, right?" conquering